Black Power. The only thing to really look at this week is this election farce that is going to take place on Tuesday. As some of you know, Hillary has already been decided to be the head of the regime for the next few years. But again, a lot of our people are obviously still caught up in the illusion of inclusion, the illusion of a democratic process, the illusion that their voice counts, their vote matters. So we have to continue to educate and engage them on this. And I know a lot of people just give up and say, oh, I don't want to do that back and forth or face to face with people. But that's the only way a lot of folks are going to come to the understanding of what's happening. This past week, yeah, had to engage in a lot of ugly back and forth with people, but eventually some of them got it. Some of them just didn't know. Some of them were not informed, didn't have the information. Some of them are even saying, they've changed their position. Some of them might still go and vote Tuesday. But again, those are the initial steps we got to take. Those of us who know have to share the information. One of the most obvious ways is that at this point, the President of the United States is also the CEO of this New World Order. So it's no longer about the politics just for the U.S., but whoever takes that position is going to be calling shots for this global conglomerate, and that is something that Trump has not been a part of. The Clinton regime has been the champions, has been one of the champion regimes in this New World Order. Whether it's overthrowing governments like in Haiti, Libya, Honduras, whether it's the economic structure, putting more power in the ruling elite and exploiting the working masses and poor masses to all of these wars that are taking place. World War III has begun. It's been in effect. But the Clinton regime has been the champions in that. They have been the champions in the domestic genocide against black people. But worldwide, the genocide of Africans and Muslims and other so-called what they consider to be undesirables, but also the bio warfare, whether it's the fracking that's taking place, the environmental terrorism. We seeing all the different water hazards, the air pollution. Whether it's what's going on in Flint, whether it's the fluoride that's been contaminating the waters for decades now, or like I was saying before, out here in Watts, people are holding flames up to their water and starting fires. But again, that's the Clinton regime. The modern prison slavery that is happening. Clinton regime, they have been the champions of that. There's more people being put into prison slavery than there was in chattel slavery. So imagine that. Everything ill that we've heard about the transatlantic slave trade has gotten worse with the Clinton regime, from kidnapping people to just straight out murdering people in this process to having people chained and shackled on these prison plantations and forcing them to engage in labor for peanuts. But that's not Trump, that's the Clintons. But again, the economic hardships, whether it's the prices of stuff going up in America and worldwide, and the wages going down in America and worldwide, to the housing crisis that we had here in the U.S. that put thousands, if not millions of people out of their homes. The Clinton regime is backed by Wall Street. They are champions of bailing out these corporations as we boycott them and break them down, or as people see that they're foul and no longer patronize these businesses. They then take your tax dollars and give it to these corporations, as dirty and foul as they are. But again, that's not Trump. That's what the Clintons have been doing. And the gentrification that is taking place, again, they represent these businesses that are displacing people out of their homes and communities the same way they are displacing people out of Somalia, out of Libya, out of Syria. They do at home as they do abroad. But again, that's not Trump. That is the Clintons. So knowing this, looking to move forward, because it's in effect, and like I was saying last week, I believe it's going to start taking effect immediately. Soon as they can announce to the world that she won this election, they're gonna start unleashing hell. So things we have to look at again is building this coon database. These Negroes who are lobbying for this to happen. Some of them foolishly believe they will be exempt and they know what's happening on payroll. Some of them are doing it out of ignorance. But either way, we got to identify those people and neutralize their influence over the rest of our people. Whether it be the church. I was telling a lot of people to not go to church today. Might not be able to get this video up for a few hours because of the repression that's happened against me. But hopefully some of y'all had these conversations. Again, I know these conversations get ugly. Usually during election time, I get unfriended by people, family, longtime friends, other folks, because, well, the last two elections, especially because of Obama. But again, because people are just indoctrinated into believing this bullshit and don't want to let it go. But the pastors are going to be running that shame game on you, telling you shame on you for not exercising the right that our ancestors died for. But our ancestors died fighting for liberation, and they thought voting would be a means of political power, but we have since learned that's not the case. So insanity is to do the same thing and expect a different result, but even more so once we get the information to let us know this isn't the course of action we need to engage in, that's just wisdom or it's foolishness. So yeah. But also I had a back and forth with one woman who was within a group known as Gang Talk Nation, and she tried to tell me that the conversations in there was just about gangs and the damage we're doing to our own. But again, once you understand, the White House has played a major role in that. Going back to J. Edgar Hoover and his relationship of carrying out the orders from the White House to prey on and destroy our communities to prevent any true leadership rising up and bringing us together. That was a direct result of the White House administrations and policies of the 60s when they took down Malcolm X, Dr. King, the Black Panthers, because the generation after them that became what is known as the bastards of the party or gang banging, they would have been under the influence of Malcolm X, Huey Newton, Fred Hampton, and Bunchy Carter, and many others who very likely could have set us on a different course of action. But yeah, what is happening in our communities with gangs today is a result of the White House. A lot of these shootings that are taking place, more and more people identifying that it's not us doing this. It's not so-called gangs doing all these killings. It's very likely the police, whether it's them in plain clothes, in disguises, or whether they have people that's working with them in gangs. Because again, just as they infiltrated movements of old, Marcus Garvey movement, had an agent right up on Malcolm X. They had agents within the Black Panther Party. They have had agents within these gangs, Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples, whatever. So yeah, some of these individuals are acting as mercenaries and carrying out the orders of the police and the state. So again, we have to identify all of this. Some people even suggested, well, the reason we need to vote is so we could sit at the table with these people. But again, these people don't sit at the table with you unless they're giving you orders. So anybody that's sitting at the table looking to sit at the table is on payroll and they have sold us out. But actions, strikes right now is one of the most effective tools that could be used. Just shutting this country down. In Czechoslovakia a few years ago, the people shut their country down for 30 days, and that forced damn near everybody out of government, and they put new people in position. It's not more so about us putting people within their government, but then building up our own governing body, building up our own voice, a voice of our own people, champions who have led these fights for us, not looking to assimilate and integrate within their governments, but also the boycotts. As one of the brother comrades, Kevin, pointed out, looking at the boycott, divest, sanction movement that's already taking place against the Zionists, but corporate America is right in cahoots with them. So we need brothers and sisters in Africa who see, hear this, Asia, wherever you may be, South America, to start boycotting these American corporations, to stop investing in these American corporations if you are in a position to do so. But lastly and most importantly, just building our movement for self-defense, y'all. Um, Stop looking for a vanguard party, because it's going to be on all of us. Because again, if we have a vanguard party that gets out there and fight for men and they take them out, your ass is still going to be on the front line. So again, get your 3 to 5 people who you know will respond in an emergency situation. Get yourself better prepared, better trained for what is to come, because it's coming. It's going to be a little more tricky, but it's coming. And again, these police executions are not about to de-escalate anytime soon. So y'all, please wake up, get yourself ready, but do your part in reaching out to more of our people. All power to the people.